Hello! This should be the first in a series of grammar videos that you will be watching for this class. My apologies if it is a bit awkward. It's the first for me in a series of videos that I will be making for this class. And it's a bit bizarre not to look at anybody and not to talk to anybody. So, forgive me if this is a bit strange. Today we're going to be discussing gender and number in the Spanish language. So, in Spanish, all nouns, persons, places, things, all nouns have to have a gender and a number. This is a bit strange for us as English speakers because in English we don't have gender of nouns. So in English, a desk is a desk. A desk is not considered masculine or considered feminine. In Spanish, everything is considered masculine or it's considered feminine. There's generally no reason for this. So a book is masculine, and that's just because it is. Pretty simple. Certain things, such as, for instance, a woman. The word for a woman, the noun for woman, is a feminine noun because it refers to something inherently feminine. So sometimes there will be a reason for gender or number, or gender rather, but usually it's just a completely arbitrary thing. Okay, so even things with non-living things, as I say, book, desk, pen, etc. How do we know if something's masculine or feminine in Spanish? There's a couple of ways. If a word ends in an O, it's probably masculine. Not always, but probably. If a word ends in an A, it's probably feminine. We'll look at some other ways later in another chapter to know if something is feminine. There are some other words, word endings that will generally be related to feminine things. But at the very least, if it ends in an O, it's probably masculine. If it ends in an A, it's probably feminine. A couple of notable exceptions are la mano, which means hand, ends in an O, but it is a feminine noun. El día, which means day, which you know from buenos días, good day, as well as el mapa. These are both masculine, even though they end in A. With certain nouns, we're going to have masculine and feminine forms. We'll have separate nouns, but very similar nouns for which we'll have a masculine and a feminine. So, for example, el secretario means secretary, male secretary. The feminine version will simply be the very similar la secretaria. Okay, so some nouns will have easily figured out and easily understood masculine and feminine versions. Normally, if they end in an O, and it's referring to a person, we can simply invent the feminine version by changing the O to an A. Some words that end in consonants, like el doctor, will become a little different with the addition of an A. So by adding an A, we make certain words feminine, like la doctora. Other words will be masculine, and their feminine form will be exactly the same, such as in the case of el estudiante, which simply means student. The feminine form is la estudiante. Okay? I don't think that's anything too crazy. Now, moving along. If we know that all nouns in Spanish are either masculine or feminine, we can then go on to the idea of definite and indefinite articles. In English, we have one definite article. And the definite article in English is the. Definite meaning it's referring to something specific, as opposed to an indefinite article, which we'll look at in a second. So definite article, the. If I say the book, I'm referring to a specific book as opposed to a book. So, English we have one, Spanish we have four. Why do we have four? Because we have one to refer to masculine singular objects, or people, or whatever. One to refer to feminine singular things. One to refer to masculine plural things. And one to refer to feminine plural things. Alright? They are el, la, los, and las. Okay, all of these words mean the or the, however you feel like pronouncing it. So this is our masculine singular. This is our feminine singular. This is our masculine plural. This is our feminine plural. Simple enough. Let me back up 1 second. We were speaking about gender. I didn't mention number very much. In Spanish, making something plural is quite simple. If it ends in a vowel, like with libro, we just add an S. If it ends in a consonant, that's a bad example yet. If it ends in a consonant like doctor, we add an ES. If it ends in a Z, now I'll give this example. If it ends in a Z, like this word, which is the word for fish, we have to change the Z to a C and then add ES. Okay, so libro, libros, doctor, doctores, pez, and peces. Okay, so going back to these definite articles then. The nice thing about this is if you miss something, you can merely rewind and catch it again. That's pretty great. So going back to these, looking at similar sorts of examples. If we had a singular noun, this is masculine, singular noun, el libro, it means the book. If we wanted to make that plural, what do you think we would do? You can all think about it for a second. Okay, we want to make libro plural. We know libros. And when doing so, we have to make sure that our definite article, our word for the or the, needs to change as well to reflect the fact that we're looking at a masculine plural noun with a masculine plural article. So el libro, the plural would be los libros. If we have la mujer, our plural would be las mujeres. This is called agreement, and we're going to look at this in greater detail when we get a bit further into the chapter and we discuss adjectives. But for now, we can just merely see this agreement between our noun and our definite article. So definite article here is feminine plural because the noun is feminine plural. So what you can't do is mix these up. So you can't say los mujeres. That doesn't work. And you can't say las libros. That doesn't work either. It's important that we have that agreement between our articles and our nouns. One more thing for this video. We've seen definite articles. Definite articles mean the. Let's take a look at our indefinite articles. Indefinite articles will mean a, or an, or some. Right? So or a is basically the same word as an. Right? So we just know we can't say a apple, we have to say an apple. And some would be the plural of that. Just like with the definite articles, we have four forms. Un, una, unos, and unas. Once again, masculine singular, feminine singular, masculine plural, feminine plural. So, if I want to say a book instead of the book, I say un libro. I'll let you think for a minute. How would I say some books? Some books, I would say unos libros. What do you think? You get it? How about a woman? A woman. Una mujer. And if I want to say some women, I'd say unas mujeres. Okay, that almost concludes this video. A quick review to make sure that we understand what we've seen here. Basic idea. In Spanish, every noun has a gender. Every noun is either masculine or it is feminine. Just like in English, every noun has a number, so every noun is either singular or plural, which gives us four total categories of nouns. Masculine singular, masculine plural, feminine singular, feminine plural. Each of those types of nouns has a definite article that corresponds to it, as well as an indefinite article that corresponds to it. And so, if you want to say the book being libro in Spanish, you need to make sure that, because that's masculine and singular, that your definite article is masculine and singular as well. El libro. Or that your indefinite article is masculine and singular as well. Un libro. And that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back for more soon. Adios.